E4 Media and RA Design House present E4Sports, sports through the eyes of veterans, with your hosts, good old JR and Ferocious Phil.
Today we're going to have the abbreviated version of the show. We are entering free agency, so come next week, we will be having two shows. We will be having on Monday, we will be having a preview of free agency, and then Thursday we will be giving results and maybe even live results of free agency. So today what we'd like to discuss is some controversies going on around. Darius Geis out of LSU was asked a very inappropriate question at the Combine. Roger Goodell has forced Jerry Jones to pay millions of dollars. And then Dolphins owner Stephen Ross and the Texans have gotten into a little bit of hot water on their views of the national anthem protests. So, Phil, let's start off with Darius Geis, running back out of LSU.
This is a totally inappropriate question. It was, this basically, I'm sure this goes on at the Combine, probably not. At least it's not supposed to have been going on for the last several years after, I believe it was Michael Sam.
Well, first let's let people know what was asked. The question that he was asked by a team was, do you like men? The NFL has come out and said this is completely inappropriate. Now, and I'm going to hand this back to Phil, as he was alluding to with a previous player coming through the draft and the Combine.
Michael Sam out of Mizzou a few years back. Yeah, went to the Rams, but the big thing was he was the first openly gay NFL player, to come out and embrace his sexuality, if you will. Now, from what I understand, this is still something that goes on at the Combine. Kenny Stills was interviewed on the NFL Network, and he said that he had been asked, because there was a picture rolling around of him in a dress when he was in college, and fraternities make you do stupid stuff, and God knows what. His explanation was he has 3 older sisters, and growing up they played dress up with him. But so he really didn't care about the dress, but the NFL was questioning him about it. Is he going to fit into the locker room? And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think they kind of they ask these types of questions though, just to see how the players react. Well, and is it a shock value type thing? What's the look on their face when they're asked this?
Well, 2 years ago, Giants cornerback Eli Apple said he was asked about his sexuality by the Falcons. And in that instance, Roger Goodell spoke with Falcons head coach Dan Quinn, and who asked the question and was not punished. So, I mean, this is, without getting into a political debate, because I'm not going to get into a political debate. It's a sports show. I'm going to try to keep political out of it. If you want to listen to me rant about political stuff, keep listening to E4 Media. I will be releasing a political podcast soon. But this question should never be asked. It's one of those questions in an interview, in a regular job, you would be sued in a heartbeat if you didn't get the job. This is not a question. Yes, I understand you're trying to sense, okay, what's the locker room like? Nowadays, that locker room, I think, would be just fine.
So does this fall into the category of, don't ask, don't tell?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that. It works in the military. Look,
okay, yeah, again, I don't want to get into the...
It worked in the military. I served with men that were homosexual, and as long as they had my sex, I didn't give a damn what they were doing in their bedroom or anywhere else they wanted to. Hell, you could be having sex in the back of alley. As long as when shit hits the fan, you got my back protected, I don't care. And it's the same with most of these football guys. They don't care as long as you're protected and you're playing team. I don't care what you do.
You cannot tell me that with what is there, about 2,500 NFL players?
Yeah.
Out of the 2,500 guys that are playing football right now, in today's day and age, you're going to tell me that that there's not a single homosexual in the league? I find that hard to believe. And I think it's like what you said. I think, so long as you're not a disruption in the locker room and you're not causing issues, you got my back, I'm cool.
Now, I heard some other questions that are asked by some teams like, oh, I hear your mom sells herself.
That was Des Bryant.
And, I mean, I guess they kind of throw these questions out to see if you get rattled or whatever. I can understand, but that one can kind of be brushed off more tongue-in-cheek. I want to see your reaction. Do you like men? Are you gay? That's crossing a boundary.
The problem with the does your mother sell herself question that was directed towards Des Bryant was there were very, very strong and good source rumors going around that his mother had done that type of thing and was a active user of illicit or illegal narcotics. But I have no way of proving that or anything like that. I'm just saying that's what was going around, and that was actually a legit question because you got to wonder what kind of element he may or may not be bringing into the NFL, and are these people that are going to leech off him and just drain his bank account, which is why the Cowboys assigned somebody to Des Bryant for I think the first 3 or 4 years of his career to kind of monitor him and kind of direct him in the right course.
And this question does not help advance where football is right now. We mentioned Michael Sam. The thing with Michael Sam is he's the first openly gay player to be drafted, but he never played a regular season NFL game.
No.
Which means in the NFL, we have still yet to have an openly gay player start an NFL game.
I don't think that's true, but I believe there has been a couple of players that have come out after their career and said they are.
But that's after their career, though.
Right. But
I'm talking about openly gay while they were playing.
But in the same light, though, Michael Sam didn't make the Rams because talent-wise,
absolutely. He just wasn't talented.
It had nothing to do with his sexuality. It was straight up his abilities.
Absolutely. I don't want to shed any shade saying that was the reason. No, he just wasn't good.
Well, he was
decent enough to get invited to the combine and all that. He just wasn't good enough to make a starting lineup or make a.
Did he get drafted?
Yes, he did get drafted. I believe he got drafted. He wasn't Mr.
Irrelevant.
He wasn't Mr. Irrelevant, but he was in the last round.
Was it the 7th round?
I believe so.
Yeah. Michael Sam. He went to Missouri. He played 0 games. I don't see anything about him being drafted.
Well, as I'm looking, I did not know. He
was 7th round, 249th.
Yep.
He was sixth from being Mr. Irrelevant. There you go.
He was drafted by the Rams, went to the Cowboys, and then went to Montreal Alouettes.
CFL, baby.
He's a Texas boy, though. Born in Galveston. He went to high school in Hitchcock, Texas. So, wherever you are, Michael Sam, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Dallas Cowboys, Roger Goodell has forced Jerry Jones to pay $2 million to the league, plus fees.
So Jerry's getting a little taste of NFL justice. Essentially.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason why this is happening is Jerry Jones decided he wanted to try and sue certain NFL owners that are on the committee that decides and pays Goodell. Now, the reason why he wanted to sue him is because he did not want Goodell to get another contract. And the caveat on that, yes, I'm not done. The reason why he did not want to give him a new contract was because he decided he was going to rightfully suspend the Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott for something that Ezekiel Elliott should have been suspended for. So, Mr. Goodell, not a gigantic fan of you, but good job, sir. But, all this does, Phil, is it's just the latest of a tug of war when it comes to Jerry Jones and how he thinks he runs the NFL. Well,
Jerry thinks he's the end-all, be-all when it comes to the NFL, whether it's, rules or whatever. I mean, it's basically, I'm going to make the rules up so long as they're in favor of me. And, look, when the NFL said they were going to use Coke as a sponsor and it was going to be the official cola of the NFL, what does Jerry do? That's all nice for you guys. That's all nice for you. But you know what? Dallas Cowboys, Pepsi is the official soda of the Dallas Cowboys. Screw Coke.
What's funny is
he's done that multiple times.
The funny thing is he did it with Miller Lite. Bud Light is the beer of the NFL, except Miller Lite is the beer of the Dallas Cowboys. But the ironic thing now is Miller Lite is owned by Anheuser-Busch, who owns Bud Light. So even though Jerry wants to be different, he's still putting money into Anheuser-Busch's pocket now. I just think that's hilarious. It just came back and said, you know what? We're going to bite you in the ass. Here you go. You're still paying us money.
Jerry is kind of like one of those guys. He's a very smart businessman. I mean, obviously done very well in oil. And despite himself when he first bought the Cowboys, he managed to get himself a couple of Super Bowl rings because he actually did listen to his coach. And then all of a sudden it's, hey, I'm the one who put this team together. I'm the one who did all this. It had nothing to do with anyone else. And I should have all the credit, which is, obviously not the case. The only reason that Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl title with the Cowboys was he had Jimmy Johnson's team that he had put together. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing to give the Cowboys a championship. And Jerry has just been on this delusional trail. He was going to take Johnny Manziel until his son said, "Dad, you're great at promoting the team. Stick to that. Let me deal with the draft." And who did he take? He took Zach Martin out of Notre Dame, who's been a perennial Pro Bowler. And where's Manziel now? Trying to get back in the league if he's lucky.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys are up crap creek. You know what? I'm going to say what it is. They're up shit creek right now.
Oh, they're a shit show to start with.
One of the starts is Jerry. I agree. Businessman, phenomenal. What he has built in Jerry World and how everybody wants to play there and the concerts, fantastic. As a football owner, I'll give it to him. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for what he's done money-wise and how he's owned the team and the humanitarian stuff the team's done, all that. As a GM, Jerry, I hope somebody passes this on to you. You suck.
You beyond suck.
Just straight up, you suck. Dallas, you ain't going anywhere until that man relinquishes his GM-ship. And you know what? When his son takes power, I think his son should go out and find a GM. Just be an owner. Guys, owners. Just be owners. You pay a GM for a reason. Deal with the money. Deal with all that. Get the benefits. Get the credit for signing and paying a top-notch GM.
Amen.
Get that credit. Don't try to do it all yourself because you will fail. You will fail. And you know what? And coaches, same thing with y'all. Not every time do you need to have ultimate power. For few, it works. Belichick, it works great. Chip Kelly was a disaster. Absolute disaster, giving him all the power.
Good college head coach, decent NFL coordinator, horrible NFL head coach.
Yeah, but he was also GM at the same time, and that's the problem. When you get
why would you give a college coach the power to be a GM
exactly
in his first foray into the NFL? So, sorry, you know, I mean that's been proven not to work. Look at Nick Saban when he came back into the NFL. He lasted 2 seasons, couldn't handle it because he's a control freak. And sorry, when the players are making more than the coach, especially in his case, he doesn't want to deal with that crap. He wants total control. He's a little dictator. That's what he's used to in the in college.
Yeah, the only positions of management that I could see combined is if you're a coach and you're offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator because you're running the plays and all that stuff too. That's fine. Owners, stay owners. Coaches, stay coaches. GMs, just do your job as a GM. Just do your job as a GM and do a good job. If you don't, then your ass is gonna be out on the street next year. I mean, it comes up. The thing with Jerry is if he had a GM that was doing as a shitty a job as he's doing now, he would have been fired 3 seasons ago. But because he's the owner, he thinks he's doing a great job. Well, Jerry, guess what? Your shit don't smell like roses. Phil, do you have anything else to say about Jerry?
Don't let the door hit you in the... never mind.
That $2 million's like pennies in his pocket anyway. Miami owner Stephen Ross has been in the news lately again after he made a response to a New York Daily News story that quoted him saying, "All of our players will be standing." This was at an event which he received a Robbie Lifetime Achievement Award from the Jackie Robinson Foundation. He said, "Initially, I totally supported the players and what they were doing. It's America, and people should be able to really speak about their choices." Now, Ross, the Daily News added, was influenced by President Trump, who ripped players for disrespecting the flag and called for them to be fired for not standing for the anthem. Now, this, and we've talked about this before, Phil, when President Trump got involved, and yes, I say President Trump because whether you like him or you don't, wake the fuck up. He's still your president. Oh. You may not like the person, but you respect the position.
Yes.
So
I mean, that goes on all the time in the military. You know, the sync may not be somebody that you agree with politically or whatnot, but does that change the fact that he's your sync? No, it does not. It's still your sync no matter what.
Absolutely.
So unfortunately, yeah, you suck it up and you still give him the due respect of the position.
So as we have stated in the past, when all the teams decided to kneel after President Trump got involved, the focus of the demonstrations changed from the military and respect for the flag rather than social justice. Again, I don't have an issue with what Kaepernick originally did. I mean, the actual sitting, I do. So the original, yes, I have a problem. But when he started kneeling, I had no issue with it. You're bringing to light something that is true. I truly believe there are injustices. For one, you look what is happening in Chicago. The murder rate in Chicago is gigantic. Yes. Is there police brutality? Absolutely. I agree with that. And you brought it to light. Thank you, Kaepernick, for bringing it to light.
Police brutality. What about the murder rate alone? The gang violence in Chicago.
Absolutely. But that to me is socials.
This is getting too political, but basically that also boils down to, once again, guns not being allowed
Yeah.
Guns
I'm
not
not
allowed in
gonna,
this. Yeah,
not going to get in that gun control debate
Exactly.
right now. But when the message changed, Ross said, that's when he was against kneeling. Is when it changed away from social injustice to Donald Trump.
but in the same light, it started out as one thing, and it was never clearly defined. And to the public, it came across as you're disrespecting the flag, you're disrespecting the country, you're disrespecting the military, and that's what the public perceived it as. And yeah, it's the way that it was presented, and that's why, they need to, if they want to protest social injustice, fine, not a problem, do it, but don't do it during the national anthem. Show some respect. Show you're proud to be an American. Show some respect and reverence to your country. This is still the greatest country in the world. I still think you need to start taking care of yourselves first, but once again, not the forum for this.
And then in the same light, the Houston Texans are now having to deny a report coming out of the Houston Chronicle that they won't sign players who knelt during the national anthem.
And that, of course, came from multiple sources from the Texans.
Now, the Houston Chronicle columnist Jerome Solomon reported this past Saturday that he had been spoken with 2 NFL agents that said the word is the Texans aren't interested in players who participated in pregame kneeling downs in protest of police brutality. It kills me to see this, especially coming out of Houston's own newspaper, because I think it adds a little bit more salt to the wound when it's reported by In Town. At least to me, it kind of burns a little bit more. And I know the reporter, I don't know him, but I know it burns him a little bit more that he has to report this. I don't know how to feel as a Texans fan. I don't know how to feel about this. For one, as again I have mentioned, we are going down that rabbit hole again. But I've mentioned that if it's for the right reason, I don't mind the kneeling. But if you're gonna kneel, realize that is your constitutional right. But ownerships and owners have a right not to hire you. It is a business decision. Straight up. Business decision. Now, the problem that the Houston Texans are in is Bob McNair. Now, I have sources who have said Bob McNair is nothing but the nicest person in the world. He's battled a lot in his life. He's battled cancer. He's battled entrepreneurship to get to where he's at. I give him all the respect. But with everything that has come out of the locker room about, quote unquote, Bob McNair being racially tone deaf, quote, many who believe if McNair could field a team with all white, all conforming, all pro talent, he would, unquote. It changes the narrative of them not wanting to sign players that protested. If that wasn't an issue, you could say, okay, they don't want the distractions, which pretty much is what it is. I mean, for one, you live in the state of Texas. The state of Texas gives the most military men up out of any state. This state is extremely patriotic. Whether you're on the left or on the right, most people in Texas are extremely patriotic. So you've got a team that's looking at that. They don't want the distraction of it. But again, I say, when you have an owner who has shown I wouldn't say proof, but a history of racial intolerance. I wouldn't say he's being absolutely discriminatory. I just think it's intolerance, and it's just in his mind, how he was raised, and it just is who he is to a point that it gives this story validity. And it makes me sad. I don't think Kaepernick is out of the league because of the anthem. I believe he's out of the league because he doesn't have the skill to be a starting quarterback, which he wants.
And he wants to be paid that way, too.
Exactly. He wants a $14 million a year.
He wants more than that, dude.
A year job. He's not going to get it. He's lucky if he gets a backup for $7 million.
He's lucky if he gets the practice squad.
Exactly. He's not that good. He reminds me of a Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was not good. Everybody gloated about him. No, it was your defense that got you there. Same with Kaepernick. It was the San Francisco defense that year that really got him, and his legs. But his accuracy didn't get him anywhere. His long ball didn't get him anywhere. He's out of the league because he can't play. And that's my take on it. I'm not going down this rabbit hole again. I thank Stephen Ross for coming out, apologizing, and said it was something wrong. He said, Texans, I know you're denying this, but it shows real validity and evidence because of the past and history of Bob McNair. So, as seen as you are my team, guys, get y'all's head out of your asses. Phil?
This just in, breaking news. Dolphins trade Jarvis Landry to the Browns. This just happened very shortly, just a little, like 15 minutes ago. And the return is a pair of draft picks. Nobody's saying what they are right now, but one's for 2018, one is going to be 2009. I'm guessing that it's going to be one of the number 2s that they have. They have 3 number 2s. I'm guessing that Miami might have gotten one of those, and they're probably looking at another pick, maybe a 4th rounder or 5th rounder in 2019. And there are multiple reports right now. The Browns are working on a new deal for Landry. So that's going to beef up the Browns receiving core. They got Josh Gordon. They got Corey Coleman. That's going to give them a hell of a slot receiver. So let's see what happens. Okay, so there's your big wide receiver going, making some early noise. So do the Browns now have something to go, hey, Kirk, we got you another receiver. We got you probably the best slot receiver in the game right now. Does that make it more inviting to Kirk Cousins to come to Cleveland? They already got a solid defense. Their offensive line is not horrific. They just need a few other pieces. Saquon Barkley in the first round?
It's very simple. What did I say last week? I said if Kirk Cousins was looking long-term and what can be around him, he'd go to Cleveland. The money's good. They've got the money. And now they're building the team around him. Plus, he's got the draft picks and the running back. I'm telling you, go to Cleveland.
Hey, man, I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised. I mean, I really wasn't sold on this, but Brown's probably going to, Brown's going to make a strong push for a veteran quarterback. Maybe it's Cousins, maybe it's not. But think about it this way. Number one, you take Saquon Barkley out of Penn State at number 1, which I'm not sure you necessarily want to take a running back number 1 overall, but could happen. And then take your quarterback at number 4, and there will be quarterbacks there. Big question in this draft is what are the Giants going to do at number 2? Number 3, you pretty much got Chubbs coming out of Clemson. That's more than likely going to be your 3rd overall, and then 4th goes back to Cleveland. So they could still walk out of this having their pick of 4 of the 5 quarterbacks that are projected to go in the first round.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your breaking news. Jarvis Landry is becoming a Brown.
Closing out here. Yeah, thank you all for listening, of course, and want to say to Jeff Triplett and Ed Hockley, hey, enjoy your retirement. Y'all did a pretty damn good job out on the field. You will be missed. And Hockley, hit the friggin' gym.
Ed, I'm going to miss those guns, bro. I'm not only going to miss the guns, but I'm going to miss the over-explanation of every penalty that's thrown. Good luck to you, sir. Enjoy retirement. Please tune in to E4 Sports. Next week, we will be having a special preview of Free Agency Frenzy on Monday. And then come Thursday, we will be rehashing what has happened on Free Agency and what is continuing to happen during Free Agency. So for Ferocious Phil, I am the good old JR. Enjoy your weekend. Hooah!